Crossovers. You know them, you love them. Well, I mean, you probably did at one point, kind of a cheap gimmick now. From TV shows to movies, and as it is most relevant here, video games. You have your classics like Smash Brothers, a platforming fighter where Nintendo characters beat each other up, Multiverses, a platforming fighter where Warner Brothers characters beat each other up, Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, a platforming fighter where Nickelodeon characters beat each other up. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. Oh, no, wait, Nick did also have Nicktoons Unite. Yeah, this is fun. Now, aside from that, what do these three games have in common as crossovers? Well, even though they combine characters from different franchises, the franchises in question still fall under the same umbrella. All-Stars Brawl has Nick characters, Versus has Warner Brothers characters. Smash does have some characters outside of the Nintendo brand, but they're still ones you'd associate with Nintendo. Yes, there are times when crossovers reach out a bit further for someone to use, but who they decide on aren't all that out of tune with the type of game they're chosen for. There is one set of crossover games, however, that is truly something else. One that takes characters from movies, TV shows, games, and even internet cartoons, and makes them bet money. That set of games is Poker Night at the Inventory, a spiritual follow-up to a game called Telltale's Texas Hold'em, which after looking up I immediately decided to stop subjecting myself to. Poker Night at the Inventory was a short-lived series of games from 2010 to 2013 and is without a doubt the strangest idea for a series of crossover games ever. Take the most random hodgepodge of characters that basically have nothing to do with each other and make them play poker. It sounds ridiculous, and well, it is, but that's also kind of the point. The concept is just so out there, and by God, I love it. Now I should mention that even though I'm talking about both games here, I only own a copy of the second one. You can't really get these games anymore outside of CD keys, which, yeah, I think I'll pass. I'll go into why this is later, but for now, just know I'm only going to use trailer footage of the first game in this video. Although I do recommend you check out a Let's Play of it or something if you want to see more. Now even though I haven't played the second game, I have seen other people play it, and considering how these games work, I think I'm fine talking about it here, just going off that. So yeah, these games take a bunch of unrelated characters, pretty much any character Telltale Games could get their hands on, and just sits them at a poker table, along with you as the player. The first game has you face off against Max from Sam & Max, Strong Bad from Homestar Runner, The Heavy from Team Fortress, and Tycho Brahe from Penny Arcade. The second game has you face off against Brock Sampson from The Venture Brothers, Claptrap from Borderlands, Ash Williams from The Evil Dead, and Sam, also from Sam & Max, with Max returning as his +1. You also have GLaDOS from Portal dealing the cards, Moxie serving drinks, and a few appearances from other characters as well.
Shut the f*** up, Steve!
Now when I first discovered these games, I only recognized about half of these guys, with Claptrap and GLaDOS being the only two I actually knew anything about. Well, Moxie too, but she doesn't really count. The girl does not utter a word in the second game, she's kinda wasted there. The fact that I didn't recognize a pretty large chunk of these guys I think just goes to show how out there these character rosters are. I could be wrong, but even for something like Smash Brothers, I think most fans are gonna recognize a lot of the roster even if some come from franchises they haven't played. I should note, however, that it's not a bad thing if you don't recognize anybody here. If anything, it just makes you more interested in checking out where they came from. I probably would have never watched Evil Dead or The Venture Brothers without seeing Ash and Brock here first. Now, when you're playing against these guys, you're going to be hearing them talk over each other a lot. Each game has its own set of conversations that'll play out depending on who's still at the table. The basic gist is that they all go back and forth referencing things from whatever series they came from, as well as do an occasional fourth wall break. They can share some pretty absurd stuff too, and the fact that their reactions to it are all so underplayed just makes the whole dynamic funnier. I think the best exchanges have to be when they unintentionally make connections between each other. My favorite moment in the second game is when GLaDOS does a background check on the girl Ash met when he traveled back in time, only to reveal that Ash is Brock's distant ancestor. Brock's reaction when he starts to put the pieces together mid-story never fails to get a laugh out of me.
Wait a minute.
Now to be clear, these games don't have a limitless amount of dialogue recorded, so after a while, you're gonna be hearing a lot of these conversations repeat. I guess in that sense, these games do lose a bit of replay value once that starts happening. Poker Night isn't just about characters talking though. They are still games after all, so what's it like to actually play them? Well, it's poker. That's basically the long and short of it. I mean, if you like poker, you'll probably like these games. Again, if you can actually get a hold of them. I'm not going to explain the rules of poker to you. Last time I tried, I just ended up putting people off the game forever, which is ironic because they wanted to learn it. All that interaction has taught me is that I'm probably the only Gen Zer who actually knows how to play it. Charizard uses Flamethrower. What I will say is that, for Poker Night 2 at least, you earn tokens whenever you win a game, which you can use to unlock different themes for cards, chips, tables, each of which are based on one of the series that these characters come from. Also, when you combine a common theme across each of these 3 items, the room around you changes to fit that theme. This also unlocks unique bits of dialogue based on how the room now looks. You can also use tokens to buy drinks for the other characters, which will make them play more sloppily. Yes, this is a game where you can intoxicate your friends. I don't know if I'm allowed to bring this up on YouTube. Something else these games have are what they call bounty items, which you get a chance to win by completing a series of challenges in each game you play. If you win one, they can unlock you items for either Team Fortress 2 or Borderlands 2. I don't know if this feature still works, but if it does, I guess that's a little more bang for your buck. Listen, I'm going to get to that, just bear with me. So yeah, gameplay-wise, these games are just poker with a few added bells and whistles. I think it's safe to say though that most people going into these games are mainly in it for the whole crossover aspect. And you know what? Who can blame them? I like it, I think it's entertaining. As I said before though, you can't really get them anymore. 2018 saw the delisting of Poker Night 2 from online stores, with the first game following soon after. Telltale's license to use these characters was about to expire, so they weren't really allowed to keep them up. I couldn't find anything confirming this, but I wouldn't be surprised if this had to do with Telltale shutting down around that time. I'm honestly pretty lucky to have found an affordable key after Poker Night 2 was removed from Steam. As for what you can find right now though, well, that's your money to spend. At the end of the day though, I think we're fortunate enough to have footage of these games online. After all, the main appeal of them is just seeing these characters interact with each other, and all of that is still intact thanks to Let's Plays you can find on YouTube. Do yourself a favor and give those videos a watch, because it's unlikely we'll ever see a roster of characters this insane come together for such a weird reason ever again. I mean, if actually playing them really means that much to you, well, Telltale's Texas Hold'em is still up. Hey, thanks for watching. This was a smaller video I worked on alongside a much bigger project, so do check that out if you enjoyed this. In the meantime though, please be on the lookout for any future uploads. Also, consider subscribing, sharing the video, and just overall spreading the word. This is a new channel that I want to see if I can't turn into something big, and the more support I get, the more likely that is to happen, and the more I can spend time making these videos and getting better at it. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all soon.